kicking back on this summer breeze. Welcome to Double K's Classroom. Class is officially in session.
The following Four Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Good evening, y'all, and welcome to this week's edition of Double K's Classroom. I know we ain't been on in a few weeks. You might be asking yourself, like, what's Double K's Classroom? Well, it's a half-hour sports podcast where I bring you my thoughts on some of the top stories in sports today. Right now, we're going to start out, of course, with the NBA draft, but more specifically, we're going to start out with the Golden State Warriors, who over the past 48 hours have had to make a litany of moves in order to just remain relevant in the world. Let's start with the day before the draft and how things went down. First thing that happened was draft morning. You hear a little blurb come across your screen that says Klay Thompson may have injured his right leg. Now, mind you, for all of those who are Warriors aficionados, you know that Klay Thompson hurt his left Achilles in the 2019 NBA Finals and hasn't played a game since. So with him getting hurt, we were expecting to have him back. We're expecting to have Curry back. We're expecting to have Wiggins in there. We were expecting to have Draymond in there. All these players were supposed to make up this amazing team, and then most people had the Warriors going for James Wiseman in the draft, but there were other places where they could have went with the pick as well. There was even talk of them moving back in the draft and taking Wendell Carter off the hands of the Bulls, Billy Donovan and the Bulls, and bringing him to Golden State for the number 2 pick and number 4 pick swap, which I liked, and then potentially pick up Danny Avdija out of Italy, I believe it was, and bring him in as a potential wing. Well, all of that changed when pretty much it came through. Well, none of it changed what the Warriors did in the draft. I'll tell you that much. But it changed their outlook at free agency, so on and so forth. Instead of looking for depth, they now needed to look for a starter quality player to either trade or to sign in free agency, because they had just drafted James Wiseman, the young talent out of the draft that I'll get to in a minute. But what do the Warriors do? Bob Myers, in all of his amazing and wonderful glory and intelligence, goes out and trades using the $17 million trade exemption we have from moving Andre Iguodala a few years back after the 2019 season. and picks up Kelly Oubre Jr., a guy that the Warriors were targeting anyway, probably with that trade exemption. But wow, brought him in. So now you have a starting lineup of Steph, potentially Andrew Wiggins at the 2, Oubre Jr. at the 3, and a guy who's a stretch, who's a big guy who can defend. Then you have Draymond Green and Wiseman, and I actually like that starting 5 to contend in the West. But Wiseman's going to be young. Kevin Looney's going to have to get some minutes. Maybe they move Looney for a veteran backup, or maybe they use a mid-level exemption, or maybe they even get there's potential that they could get a injured player exemption for Klay Thompson that would be worth about $9 million that they could bring in somebody on a 1-year deal or trade for somebody on an expiring contract. But we'll see how that goes. Now let's get back to the draft. The first pick in the draft was the one and only 2-guard out of Georgia, who probably would have went to the Warriors had he not gone number 1 with the injury to Clay, Anthony Edwards. His strengths: he's a powerful guard with elite length and explosiveness, tough to contain, especially in transition, strong first step, bouncy off 1 or 2 feet in space, embraces contact in the paint. He's a 3-level scorer. He's 3-level forward who can function on or off the ball, capable shooter with his feet set, but most intriguing with the ball in his hands. He can splash a pull-up 3 if the defense goes under, rise up in a mid-range spots, or use his strength and explosiveness to get all the way to the rim in a straight line. Shows potential as a facilitator, particularly in the open court. Strength, length, and quickness to be a lockdown defender who can check 3 positions at the NBA level. Doesn't always buy in on that end, but has shown glimpses. Can sit down and slide, has the tools to make plays off the ball. Improvement areas: still learning how to play on both ends. His heart: he's a streaky perimeter shooter. He only shot 29% from 3 last season, or at Georgia overall. Undisciplined defender who isn't always engaged. Projected role: star scoring guard. Timberwolves went through a long and arduous study and researching every detail under the sun. They at least half a dozen process before electing to make this pick, leaving no stone unturned in the process. They kept their intentions perfectly masked from their colleagues in the NBA. Fans and media alike, in a way we haven't seen since Anthony Bennett went number 1, which they hope the number 1 pick doesn't share many more parallels in terms of bust potential. In the end, they decided to play it safe, make the pick that made the most sense from a positional standpoint in Anthony Edwards. This helped avoid any potential tension with incumbent primary ball handler D'Angelo Russell, and by extension, Russell's good friend Karl Anthony Towns. Edwards brings both explosive scoring instincts and idea physical tools. All right. I like the pick. I say you add D'Lo with Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, and I think Minnesota makes a threat next year. I think that Warriors pick is going to be the extra Warriors pick is going to be, well, it's not an extra Warriors pick because they traded their 2021 pick for Kelly Oubre Jr. But it's a top 20 protected, so as long as they finish inside the top, the worst 20 in the league, they're good. Now, the Warriors had the number 2 pick. And like I said, they chose to fill the center position with a 7'1" beast of a kid, James Wiseman. I would have liked to have seen him trade back, pick up either Wendell Carter Jr. or who was it? Marvin Bagley out of Sacramento, and pick up the number 4 pick and pick up a wing. But I can go with Wiseman. Wiseman's the best big man in this draft, ranked number 3 overall. Incredible frame, over 7 feet. 7 feet in shoes and 250 pounds with 7'5" wingspan, a gigantic standing reach, exceptional athlete for his size in terms of his ability to get up and down the floor, cover ground, and evaluate around the rim quickly with explosiveness and power. Has a good skill set, agile in the post, and as a pick and roll finisher with impressive body control, capable of handling and creating for himself, shows some creativity with his footwork, has a soft touch around the rim, and even extending out to 3. Impact player as a rim protector, when locked in and operating at maximum intensity thanks to his reach, timing, and quickness. Also capable of switching on the perimeter with excellent mobility. Feel for the game is a work in progress on both ends. Doesn't always know his best role offensively and has left scouts wanting more at times. This was a pick that I liked in Wiseman, and I can tell you that I expect him to make an impact with the players that we already have on the squad. That the Warriors will make this kid into another star in this league. He has Steph, he has Clay, he has a bunch of people that he can work with. So, all right. On that note, let's go on ahead and take a break. When we come back from that break, I will discuss the rest of the draft with you, and then that'll do it. And then we'll come back next week with K-Double's 5th period music class. Thanks for listening. You are listening to Double K's Classroom right here on the 4Aces Presents Radio Network. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Hey listener, Dutch here from Voice from the Underground, the podcast. My co-host and I want to invite you to check out our little corner of the podcast verse. At Voice from the Underground, we talk about all the crazy happening around us and try to make a little bit of sense out of the nonsense with little to no results. If the idea of hearing three semi-intelligent, outspoken nerds talk about politics, social issues, current events, sports, movies, pretty much anything that we decide to talk about because, well, it's our show, appeals to you, grab your shovel and come on down to the underground, and then consult a qualified psychotherapist. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, just not where you buy your weed.
Voice from the Underground.
So, what's up? Steve Fingerstyles here, the host of the podcast, spelled DA, of course. Tune in each and every week to hear what pisses me off, what angers me, what I make fun of, and of course, my crazy rants. I also have incompetent co-hosts, cool guests, and a silent producer that sucks. So what more do you need from a podcast? You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and the Pod Bros Network. Peace.
From the galactic depths of the comic book universe comes the ghosts of the stratosphere, ready to galvanize and energize your mind with the latest of comic book news and reviews. And why are you stopping me? Yes, that's much better. Hi, this is Andy Larson for Ghosts of the Stratosphere. Join me every week along with my co-hosts Rob Stewart and Chad Smith, as well as a cavalcade of fantastic comic book guests, as we dish out heaping helpings of the greatest and latest of comic book news and reviews. New shows posted every Tuesday with bonus shows every first Friday of the month. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher under Ghosts of the Stratosphere, as well as on our website, www.gotstratosphere.com. Hope to see you soon, folks.
All right, and I'm back. So just some overall thoughts. I'm not going to keep you here too long on the NBA draft. I like the pick of LaMelo Ball to the Hornets. I think that he'll make a good franchise player when it comes to long-term success. I think that LaMelo, like his brother Lonzo, has a good eye for the court, a decent jumper that can be improved upon, and has definitely a high ceiling. Patrick Williams out of Florida State was somebody that I was looking at for the Warriors, but unfortunately he fell to the Bulls. You add him to Wendell Carter, Zach LaVine, and the talent that they have over there, and you give him to Billy Donovan, and I think the Bulls could be somebody that are going to be making some noise in the coming years. Let's see, Obi Toppin was another guy I was looking at, kind of a Draymond-type player heading to the Knicks. Denny Avjiva from Israel. Sorry, I said he was from Italy, Israel. Great all-around player, great 3-and-D player. I think that he will fit in well with Bradley Beal, and if they can bring back John Wall in Washington, even though I don't expect him to play this year. Jalen Smith can add to what they already have in DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker over there in Phoenix. Tyrese Halliburton was another one I was looking at for the Warriors as a backup point guard, and he's a beast that's going to be playing in Sacramento, so they finally have a pure point guard outside of De'Aaron Fox over there. Wonder how they're going to run that one. Aaron Naismith is a good pickup for the Celtics. Josh Green, I liked him going out of Arizona. I liked him going to the Mavericks. And then let's see, another big pickup down low is R.J. Hampton to the Bucks. I think he'll make a solid player one day for them. Malachi Flynn to San Diego State. I like him out of San Diego State to the Raptors. And then TCU, the second pick for the Celtics of the evening, TCU product Desmond Bain. I truly think would be a great fit for them. The Warriors ended up picking up two cats in the second round that I don't never heard of, but they picked up a project guard that they live in over in Europe named devistating Jessup out of Boise State. He's going to be playing in Europe. He's playing in Europe right now. And Nico Manning, a point guard out of Arizona that will probably get some play time this year. So overall, I liked the way the draft banged out. I'll probably do another episode in 2 weeks and talk a little bit about how the football season's going for the 49ers, which is not that well. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this short and quick birthday edition, because today is my birthday, of Double K's Classroom. I will be back with more for you in a couple of weeks. Just getting back into the groove, guys. Those of you who know me know what happened, and so just know I'm getting back into the groove. So one love, peace out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Peace.